let's check out the health news, and after that, we will check out some other things. Here we go. So, Black children could be more at risk of developing an addiction to ultra processed foods. This was reported on the 28th. So please be careful and try to, be more natural with your bodies and stuff. Ultra processed foods have taken over the U.S. diet. Roughly 73% of the U.S. food supply is made up of ultra processed foods, and they are leading to widespread addiction. 1 in 6 adults report being addicted to ultra processed foods, while research indicates that roughly 12% of children are addicted to ultra processed foods. I probably am. I ain't even gonna lie. Ultra processed foods are items that can't be made in the kitchen and have been industrially formulated to last longer and taste better. These include chips, some breakfast cereals, ice cream, cookies, carbonated sodas from frozen meals, and more. Diets that include too many of them can lead to a variety of health concerns, including obesity, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and poor mental health. Let me see. One major challenge is that given that ultra processed foods currently comprise more than half of the country's food supply, they are nearly all over. Communities that lack access to varied and affordable whole foods, including many Black communities, remain most at risk of developing an addiction. Preventing addiction isn't as simple as making better choices while in the grocery aisle, especially when there may be something on a primal level driving them. If there's a really high value meal in front of you, something rich and fatty that has a lot of calories in it, the brain is set up to say, go ahead and eat it, even if you are full, because of your ancestors had no guarantee that they would find the food the next day. Appetite specialist, oh Lord, that last name, Alexandra D. C. Antonio, and assistant, why is her name two different people's names? Assistant professor at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg told CNN. Let's see here now. Yeah, that doctor added that the brain is wired to remember and crave the flavors associated with a particular food. It's what we learn in Psychology 101, right? Lights comes on, food drops, dog salivates, she said. In addition to biology, what is that? I got to figure that out. I don't know who's doing it, but thank you. I don't know. In addition to biology, wait a minute. I know what that is. I know what it is. It is, yeah, I unlike some. Okay, there we go. I muted it. I didn't mute something. There we go. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's throwing me off. I thought it was the Twitch channel. Anyways, let's see here now. In addition to biology, how ultra-processed foods are made may also contribute to the addiction. They are made by breaking down the cell structures within the foods, which allows them to pass rapidly through human gastrointestinal tract. So there you go. Won't be mad at me. She woke up. If I put her to sleep over that medical stuff. The majority of usable calories boosted by intense flavors from whatever additives are in there are quickly dumped into the upper intestine, sending signals to the brain all at once, that doctor explained to the outlet. It's happening really rapidly and it's happening really strongly. Could you just say it's happening really fast? Or you could have said it's happening really, really rapidly. That sounds weird. You're so cute. Yes, you are. Sorry, I got distracted by the cute face. Anyways, this can lead the brain to fail to recognize the calories it's already consumed. However, consumers should be worried about more than potato chips and frozen burritos. Research has shown that Black-based ultra-processed foods have been linked to many of the same health risks. Considering how widespread these foods are, experts and scientists are calling for food to be labeled as potentially addictive or harmful in the same way cigarettes and alcohol are. As Ashley Gearhart, a professor of psychology at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, who conducted the research and developed the Yale Addiction Scale that determined that 12% of children have food addiction, told CNN, ultra-processed foods are cheap and literally everywhere. So this is also a social justice issue. And I don't know what to tell you. I've been told to leave the processed food alone. It is a little tough, especially when you're broke. So what can I say? It's not easy. That's really all I can say. But we've got a few more. Let me see here now. I don't really need to. Yeah, I don't need to talk about that, but I do feel like I need to talk about this. I need to talk about this. So we're gonna do one more health story, and then I'm gonna go ahead into the crazy news. I don't know, maybe it's the holiday, maybe it's competition, but right now, the chat is really slow, so I'm just gonna, chop it up to just the season and whatnot, and cut these into smaller parts for y'all to consume later on. Either way, I'm putting the information out there. It's not like I'm just not doing it. Like I said, this is bigger than me, and I need to get the information out for all of us. So let's move on into the next story. Kidneys from Black donors are more likely to be thrown away. A bioethicist explains why. This is ridiculous. And this is on the 27th. Some people really need those kidneys. As one of the leading causes of death in the U.S., kidney disease is a serious public health problem. The disease is particularly severe among Black Americans, who are 3 times more likely than white Americans to develop kidney failure. While Black people constitute only 12% of the U.S. population, they account for 35% of those with kidney failure. The reason is due to part of the prevalence of diabetes and high blood pressure, the 2 largest contributors to kidney disease in the Black community. Almost 100 people in the U.S. are awaiting kidney transplantation. Though Black Americans are more likely to need transplants, they are also less likely to receive them. Ain't that about a bitch? Making matters worse, kidneys from Black donors in the U.S. are more likely to be thrown away as a result of a flawed system that erroneously considers all Black donor kidneys as more likely to stop working after a transplant than kidneys from donors of other races. This shit just don't. Ooh. As a scholar of bioethics, health, and philosophy, I believe this flawed system raises serious ethical concerns about justice, fairness, and good stewardship of a scarce resource, kidneys, because you ain't getting one of mine, not right now anyways. How did we get here? The U.S. organ transplantation system rates donor kidneys using the Kidney Donor Profile Index, an algorithm that includes 10 factors, including the donor's age, height, weight, and history of hypertension and diabetes. Another factor in the algorithm is race. Research on previous transplants shows that some kidneys donated by Black people are more likely to stop working sooner after the transplantation than kidneys donated by people from other races. This brings down the average time a transplanted kidney from Black donors can last for a patient. That's fucked up, man. As a result, kidneys donated by Black people are discarded at higher rates because the algorithm downgrades their quality based on the donor's race. This means that good kidneys may be wasted, raising several ethical and practical concerns: risk, race, and genetics. Scientists have shown that races are social constructs that are poor indicators of human genetic diversity. Using a donor's race assumes people who belong to the same socially constructed group share the important biological characteristics, despite evidence that there is more genetic variation within racial groups than between other racial groups. Such is the case for Black Americans. It is possible that the explanation for observed differences is outcome lies in genetic and not in race. People who have 2 copies of certain forms of variants of the APOL1 gene are more likely to develop kidney disease. About 85% of people with those variants never develop kidney disease, but 15% do. Medical researchers do not yet understand what it is behind this difference, but genetics is likely only part of the story. Environment and exposure to certain viruses are also explanations. People who have 2 copies of the riskier forms of the APOL1 gene almost all have ancestors who came from Africa, especially from West and Sub-Saharan Africa. In the U.S., such people typically are characterized as Black or African American. Can we stop here for a minute? I meant to say this in the story earlier about the Black jobs. Are we still doing the 1 drop? Because a lot of you motherfuckers that are passing are Black too, then if that's the case. And I want to know what jobs y'all got. And I need to know about this shit right here. I mean, not all black people have this gene, and not all white people don't have this gene. Just like how some black people, sadly, have that damn Neanderthal gene, which I'm still pissed off about. Man, I know it's less than 1%, but still, I'm pissed. Anyways, research on kidney transplants suggests that kidneys from donors with 2 copies of the higher risk APO1 variant fail at a higher rate after transplantation. This could explain the data on black donor kidney failure rate. How might this practice change? Healthcare professionals decide how limited resources are used and distributed with that comes an ethical responsibility to steward resources fairly and wisely, which includes preventing unnecessary loss of transplantable kidneys. Reducing the number of wasted kidneys is important for another reason. Many people agree to organ donations to help others. Black donors may be disturbed to learn that their kidneys are more likely to be discarded because they came from a black person. That would hurt my damn feelings. This practice can further decrease the trust of Black Americans in the healthcare system that has a long history of mistreating Black people. Making organ transplantation more equitable could be as simple as ignoring race when evaluating donor kidneys, as some medical researchers have proposed. But this approach, what are you doing? What do you see? I'm sorry, my cat is looking around, and I'm prone to looking at what they see if I don't see shit. Because if it moves something that ain't supposed to move, I'm out of here. Anyways, but this approach would not account for the observed differences in transplantation outcomes and could result in transplanting some kidneys that are increased risk for early failure due to genetic issue. And since Black kidney recipients are more likely to receive kidneys from Black donors, this approach could perpetuate transplant disparities. Another option that could improve public health and reduce racial health disparities is to identify the factors that lead to some kidneys donated by Black people to fail at a higher risk. Can we check the white ones too, and the Asian ones, and the Hispanic ones? Because I'm pretty sure they have some as well that are not going to have, the Energizer Bunny thing on it. Stop just saying it's Black people. That's annoying. One way researchers are working to identify higher risk kidneys is using the Apollo study, which assesses the impact of key variants on donated kidneys. In my view, using the variants instead of race likely would decrease the number of kidneys wasted while protecting recipients from kidneys that are likely to stop working sooner after transplantation. Anna S. Iltis, professor of philosophy, Carlson Professor of University Studies and Director, Center for Bioethics, Health and Society. Why all the long names? Wake Forest University. This article was republished from that. So you can go there if you want to know about it, but I just think it's really fucked up that they would do that, because there are a lot of people waiting for donations of organs. Now, I had hoped if there was more people that I would look at the fashion styles of Jodie Turner-Smith, but that can wait for a bigger crowd, or maybe I'll find another, fashion show and we can go over that. But it looks like tonight is a slow night. There's not a lot of people up in here, so I'm just going to do my crazy news. And before I do that, though, I'm going to do my commercial one last time. I do apologize if it's annoying. If it's annoying, just say it in the comment. I'll cut it down somewhat. But if you still enjoy it, then I'll try to play it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just cutting down some of my things that I turned on. So here's the commercial. And, like I said, don't forget to share. I'm very happy to finally get over 100. Now I'm aiming for like 500. I really need to get myself motivated and get these deep dives and my other material out. That's all I have to say about that. But let's look at the commercial and my last piece of the news. It's just me and the fam. 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 Yeah. It's just me and the fam. See my little Tay, that's my girl, that's my mascot. No one's go for hours and some hours till we pass out. Stay inside the house, turned up with the racks out. Stay inside the house, turn. All right. So, and finally in news, weird news, Pennsylvania firefighters rescue 4 ducklings from a storm drain. I'm pretty sure you probably found way more than that. But there they are, going into a drain for baby ducks. This is what they spent their money to find 4 baby ducks. They look very soft. And they're very proud of themselves. They say 4 baby ducks. I saw an injured kitten running through the door. Nobody saved that. I'm just saying. So this was reported on June 28th. A team of Pennsylvania firefighters climbed into a storm drain to rescue a family of 4 trapped ducklings. The Quarryville Fire Company said on social media that a crew responded to West 4th Street following a report of ducklings that fell into a storm drain. Who the hell is outside looking at it? Better be an old person, because otherwise you just have no life. I'm just saying, how did you see that? Anyways, the volunteers were able to access the storm drains and remove 4 small ducklings, fire officials wrote on a social media. Firefighters were unable to locate the ducklings' mother, so they were taken by a resident to a local animal rehab center. Just another thing your local volunteers are tasked with and ready for, the post said. Real talk, I don't know what to tell you, because we got people that can't seem to get the police to come for shit, and these motherfuckers over here saving ducks. Well, good job for you, I guess. And that is it for the news. I'm sorry if I wasn't as animated. Like I said, y'all make it what the show is. I feed off of y'all, and unfortunately, with the holidays coming and, Sunday and I guess school out, things change. So it is what it is. I'm getting ready to go and take a shower and get ready for bed because I still have work. So I'll see y'all later. I'll probably be in another swimming suit. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. I can't today. Oh, it's got to go. Playing house to stay home with my soul. All the love I can't say. No, I always got to go. Playing house to stay home with my soul.